Hey there, comic fam! Welcome back to Climbing Comics. In today's sesh, we'll be doing my next installment of comic grading using my X-Men number 129 and asking the question, is it time to consider mid to low grade books? Hey there again, comic fam, welcome back. In today's sesh, we'll be grading my X-Men number 129, the first issue of the epic Dark Phoenix saga story arc. Last year, one of my 2020 goals was to collect this whole series, this whole run from 129 to 138. Luckily, I was able to obtain them all, the whole run. That was mid-year 2020. Fast forward to today, 2021. As some of you may know, we've seen a lot of comic book prices skyrocket, like meteorically, over the past 3 to 6 months. This threw a wrench in a lot of people's 2021 goals, even my goals I had to adjust this past year. So this prompted me to ask the question, if we needed to get a book now, and our original plan was for a higher grade book, and that is no longer an option, how low should we go to still make a smart purchase? Like we did before, this video is going to be split into 3 separate parts. First, showing off the book so you can make your guess on the grade. Secondly, I'll do my assessment on the grade of the book. And then third, we'll be asking the question, how low should we go? Without further ado, let's get to the comic grading. Today we'll be looking at X-Men number 129. This book is very special to me because it's the first part of the Dark Phoenix saga. First Kitty Pryde, first Emma Frost, Hellfire Club, and I believe Sebastian Shaw. So like last time, I'll be using this overstreet guide to grading comics, and I've copied down the rubric of items I will be looking for in this book: spine ticks, foxing, exterior color wear, etc., based off of their list. Also, they have this nifty little graph of suggested number of allowable defects per grade. I've transposed that into my own little sheet where I could do a quick reference. First off, I'll be using this light to see if there's any sort of bending on the cover. Glossy, looks great. Let me check the back side. Seems to be a little bit of issue here, but that can be pressed out. Overall looks good. I'll be looking for spine ticks next, mainly for color breaking spine ticks. So we got 1, got 2 here, got 3, got 4. These little ones, maybe 5 or 5 and 6. I notice I've been a little bit conservative in my previous scores, so I wanted to make sure that if it's not necessarily a pressable tick, if it's a color breaking tick, I wanted to readjust my grading. So this looks to be just slightly abraded. Bottom looks good. Corner looks good. Just a little dog ear right there. Side looks good, looks great. It's not as sharp. Back. I feel like a lot of these are pressable. So the staples look good outside. There's not that much spine roll, but if there's any that could be pressed out. Let's look at the center. No rust in the staples. Looks to be good and tight. I checked through the book itself. There does not seem to be any cutouts of any sort of stamps. Colors look good. I would say I would give this a color of off-white, just to give you an idea. So if I were to look at this, just to do this quick and dirty grading, I'd say maybe I saw a for sure 7 issues. So let's give this a 8.5 grading at a very fine plus. That's what I would grade this book. So please put your grades below, and thank you. That's a great looking book for an 8.5. Now let's look to see if an 8.5 and other mid-grade books rose as steeply as higher grade books. Before I go in, disclaimer that the info that I'll be showing is just a small sample size. So for the books that you're looking for, definitely please do your own due diligence to see what makes sense for you. We won't be speculating as to why the comic book rise in prices is happening, or if there's going to be a comic crash or comic correction in the market. But what we'll do is, knowing that the situation that we're in, if we must buy now, is there a soft spot in the comic book market? And if so, where is it? As the saying goes, the rising tide raises all ships. In the comic collecting hobby, some of these ships rise higher and faster than others, like this 9.8. What I'll be doing today is trying to find a ship or grade that rises steadily, but if that comic crash or correction happens, won't fall as much. Let's look at Go Collect. I've pre-populated a couple of the books of the Dark Phoenix saga, starting from 129, going up to 134. So again, disclaimer, this is just a couple of examples. Looking at this X-Men 129, the current FMV is about $2,900. This time last year, it was about $1,500. So this is basically doubled in price over this past year. But if we were to look at our 8.5, today it's $180. About this time last year, I would say it's about 140 to 160. Let's put it in that range, even 130. That jump from 130, 140 to 180 is not as great in percentage as opposed to this drop in price from 2,900 to 1,400. Let's say that comic crash or recorrection happens. I think something in the 8.5 to the 4.0 range still presents very well. Let's use the skills we learned from comic grading. There are a lot of great looking books between those ranges. And if you want to get a lot of books in your goal list, maybe it might be worth spreading that love around to different books. Let's take a look at number 130. Same thing with a 9.8. It goes to 1,000 this year, but this time last year, it was about 650. Again, with 131, this is also a big book, 9.8, 1950. But this time last year, let's say it was about $1,200, or yeah, about $1,200. Quite a bit of a difference here. If we look at an 8.0, or let's go to let's go to an 8.0, $70. But last year was about, this guy got a deal, but this is about $60. Of course, I will have to add the caveat that if you do try to find something in the lower range, you'll definitely get a much better deal than if you're trying to get something at a 9.8. These rules definitely do not apply for the higher grade grails and even the lower grade grails like an X-Men 1 or a Hulk 181 or even a Fantastic Four 4950. So these rules don't apply there, but definitely please use your data and the resources you have to do some research as to see if you were willing to go down in grade. Looking over that data was very eye-opening for me. With this new information, mid-grade books are starting to look a lot more appealing to me, especially if that means that I could hit more gold books this year. I know I'm putting those rose-colored glasses on, but books in the 4 to 8 range are looking pretty good. So I'll be adjusting this year. What about you guys? A question that I have for you guys now is, have your collecting habits changed over the last 3 to 6 months? If so, how did they change? Did you completely shift your goals this year, or you change your threshold of what grade you're allowing yourself to purchase, or did you just pause your goals for 2021? So please let me know in the comment section below. If you like this type of content, don't forget to click that thumbs up button, subscribe, and click on that bell icon so you're notified when I come out with new content. From my comic journey to yours, make it your own. Thanks all. Bye.